What's going on, everybody? Sorry, it's my first stream, so I definitely have some little bit of drama while you wait on me. All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Charles Clay Baker, otherwise known as Ranger Bob Ross. I was a special operations team leader, and I was wounded in 2010 when the Osprey I was riding on crashed. So I now use. I got several injuries. I got a traumatic brain injury. I have plates in my hip, knee, and ankle. I just got a steroid injection 2 days ago, so I could even do this right now. And because of like the loss of friends and stuff, PTSD. So I actually, when I was in a facility to help me with all that stuff, I took to painting to deal with it. And since then, I just kind of just been really passionate about it. And it's just been a big thing for me, you know. So I thought I would start sharing it with all of you to raise awareness to PTSD and, you know, disabled veterans in general, and how painting is good for it. Now, so if you look, how I do abstract painting. You know, I'm not a big portrait painter or anything like that. I have anything against it. It's just this stuff is like PTSD and TBI related. So for me, it's all about getting experimenting with the way the paint gets on the canvas and how it expresses the confusion and the infinite thoughts and all this other mess that comes with having a scattered brain from having a brain injury. So I use a lot of these scraping tools, palette knives. I have some brushes. I do stuff, but I do use brushes and stuff, but I'm not the biggest on brushes all the time, so I like using all that. Today I got some Liquitex, Artist Loft, like basically anything that you can find at Michael's. Excuse me for 1 second. All right. Let's see. Let's start. Just go ahead and get going. If you notice, I usually like to do this. The only thing I usually prep is like I'll prep the sides. I like having the sides painted on my thicker canvases, so I have to bear with it. Let's get to it. Oh, and feel free to hit me up in the comments, you know, or the live feed. This is my first time doing this, so hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully, you know, this is actually live right now. So, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but I'm using the palette knife here and some like turquoise blue, like Caribbean blue, I guess you could call it, to get my initial layer. I was feeling some blues. I usually feel the blues and the oranges. You know, I'm trying to experiment with more colors. You know, a lot of guys with PTSD, a lot of folks with PTSD and issues, they have a lot of black. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I mean? It fucking sucks, right? It's all bad, but you know, I feel like you should try to express the infiniteness, I guess, of trying to retrain your brain and learn things, relearn things about yourself, you know. And I mean, like me, I woke up from a plane crash, and I could paint. I mean, well, you might argue that I can't paint, but I feel like I can paint. So I do. And it really helps me out a lot. Hopefully y'all really appreciate it too. By the way, the reason why I go with Ranger Bob Ross is because I used to love his shows with my grandmother. And he was actually a 26-year Air Force veteran. So he was basically hard as hell, man. And so it's kind of a homage, if you will, to Bob Ross. So I got my little dude right here anyway. And let's get nuts. All right. I'm going to go with some of the neon orange. And some of the fluorescent red. Yeah, they will. Oh, so I listen to my music, but, you know, obviously I can't, because of copyright laws, let y'all listen to it. So I apologize, and I will try to get that figured out in the future. But, you know, can't be getting sued, you know what I mean? My first stream, that would not be great. So obviously I was influenced by guys like or painters like Jackson Pollock and Gerhard Richter. You know, just some of the abstract impressionists from the 40s and 50s. Yeah. I apologize for the sniffle nose. A little congestion today. Where's my big guy? One thing I would like to encourage everybody to do with their painting or any of their art is to let it just go, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, just let it happen. You'll be amazed how it comes out. You know, a lot of times it'll create something that you didn't even think about. see if anybody hit any of my comments. Hey. Oh, okay. What about if I put them right here? There we go. How about that? Everybody can see my boy, Bobby R. Sometimes I'll also take this when I want to do a spot, want to add in a little bit of color in a certain area. I'll just put it right on my blade and then use it that way. And then give it a second to dry. And, and then fool with it some more. If you notice, I'm wiping my blades off a lot because it's kind of for obvious reasons. You get that wet paint off of there, so it's not just a big old mash of brown, And we're just not going for brown right now. I hope you guys all really appreciate your talent, and you take time to nurture that a little bit, especially if you're dealing with some injuries or some trauma. I know a lot of people always tell me about with PTSD or my injuries with pain and all that stuff. They always feel bad because I was in a plane crash in a war, right? But trauma is trauma, and people deal with trauma in a lot of different ways, but they're very similar. And so I think that especially art, painting, could help with all kinds of like PTSD, assault victims, what is it? Family of murder victims, stuff like that. I mean, like real messed up stuff, but I think painting could help with the relief of that. I know my grandmother was dying of cancer when I was a young kid. The Bob Ross, the one who watched Bob Ross, she used the Bob Ross stuff. Oh, and if you want to know, I listened to the 60s through the 90s rock music when I paint. Sometimes I'll use foreign songs in a foreign language like French because it distracts. It keeps me from getting too wrapped around the words of the song and not the rhythm and tone. It helps because that's the part that helps me when I do that stuff. Let this dry a little bit. All right, just gonna chill for a second. Check my stuff. Yeah. I wonder if it's easier to see. Is it easier to see that way? How's that? Oh, now it's too dark. Oh, well. Can't have it all, you know, folks? Just have to deal with the light right now. Let's see if I can't. I'll bring it over to you so you guys can see what I got going on so far. Don't worry about the leavings. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. All right. All right. And also what we're going to do, give this a little bit of love. Jesus. I'll flip it. Bam. What? He's flipping it. I know, it's crazy, right? Like I said, let the art, let the painting kind of speak to you. You know, where's that frustration at? You know, you can't remember shit all day. People frustrate you all day. Put that out on the paint, man. Because once it's on the canvas, it stays there, you know, and you don't have to have it as your baggage as much. Or at least in my experience. How we looking? Oh, and thank you, John, for the crispy coffee grinder shout out. Appreciate that, my man. Need some. Right. What we're going to do is I'm going to mark off some spots. All right. With the orange. Maybe just a little taste of this some places. Listen to the Stones right now. Just a shadowy. All right. Make sure not to be as messy as your boy over here and clean your stuff off. Otherwise, your wife will freak out when you get paint all over her nice hardwood floors. Just kidding. Love you, honey. What do I got here? Hey, so I'll use anything. I got some like some tan paint from Walmart, you know, a little apple deal. I use that just instead of white. Kind of give it like an off-white color or flavor to it. Let's see. We'll just try a little bit. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna see, and if not, we're gonna do all white because that titanium white is crispy, my lads and ladettes. And by the way, ladies, I apologize for that. I just spent my whole career working with guys because I was in a special op unit. So I just automatically just call everybody dudes or I just don't mean it like that. So hopefully you don't hate me. And if not, you might as well just leave the channel because it's probably going to get worse. All right. All right, got your paper towel, right? And what I start to do is just start however I feel it, man. Make sure you get that clean, that blade clean when you start out on a new color. You'll be messing it up. Let's see here. I know I got a different blade. There we go. My trusty, the trusty 3-inch scraper, paint scraper. Man, talk about a great tool for doing this. And if you notice, I kind of dab it across, right? So what that does by dabbing it like that, it lets you get your line that you're trying to look for, that straight line that you want, without and making it nice and even. All right. And if you're wondering what I'm doing with the sides, I like dressing the sides up, and I don't like wasting the paint. And I feel like you can appreciate the painting from angles. You know what I mean? Like there's something to be seen over here. There's a reason to look on the side of the painting. Oh yeah. And then you gotta get down here, get weird with it. Not a bad thing. I'm gonna let it chill for a second. Check the feed. All right. Just giving it a minute to let the paint dry on there a little. All right. All right. Ooh, I forgot about this guy. That's my other blades. So I forget stuff, guys. It's, TBI. So one mistake you might not want to make with me is to assume that I'm going in a certain direction because, again, gotta love that TBI. I'll just change my my mode real fast. Bloop. Sorry, Bobby. Bobby R, everybody. He can't, he's so drunk he can't stand, but he's a hell of a painter. Hell of a painter. So now I'm going through and I'm hitting up more of my my big bold strokes, obviously putting those big colors back in after I mixed them all originally to kind of give it like a nice background. And I like that. It gives you that sense of depth. It gives me that sense of depth that I'm trying to convey to y'all. By the way, guys and gals, I know that I am a messy painter. I get it, but that's how I roll. That's how it works for me, and that's why I have tarps down. If you're a kid watching, do not do this crap anywhere in your parents' anything. All right, one more time. I like where it's going. Hopefully you guys do too. Remember what Bobby said. There are no mistakes, just happy accidents. You guys know, running sucks. I can't no more. Take my shoes off for a second. Can't even leave the area. Covered in stuff. Oh. All right. Bung, 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 bung. Huh. All right. Ah, there we go. Of course. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna get the bucket of paint open. I know. Just a touch of the dark green. Before you start freaking out about it, you know, it'll be covered up. A lot of it's going to get covered up. Don't chill out. Like, what are you doing? It's so green. It's fine. I'm going to get a little bold with the red, the fluorescent red. Be awesome. I think. Fucking green. You gotta love that. Just barely touched it. All right. Sorry, guys. Got a little in the moment. I'm just trying to work on my reds. Get this bad Larry going. All right. Oh man, I can't listen to Stairway. It's too much. Little T Petty, R.I.P. And with a little of that Windsor Newton. I know. I bet you're wondering how many paper towels can his trash can hold. I promise you, more than I've even thrown in there. I actually have a person that just keeps grabbing them for me. All right. Gotta get down here a little bit, guys. Sorry. Right. Got to thank the docs over at Florida Spine for giving me that injection to where I can actually do this. Probably be paying for it tomorrow, but I don't give a shit. It's so much fun to be able to paint again. Sorry, guys. Switching my song up a little bit. Oh man, might be the last time we spin it. So if you notice, I spun it once for each side, and you hit it from different. I hit it from different angles. Let's see how it's looking. Oh jeez. This is like another thing I use to spread paint. I learned this from watching Gerhard Richter. He uses plexiglass. He makes these kinds of paintings, but they're like 40 feet tall and made out of oil. Oh man, if you had the money for that though, boy. My spouse would hate me because I would have 40-foot fucking paintings in my backyard. Of course, he also all right, we're so good. I don't know how that happened, but hey, glad we didn't fuck up anything. Usually it doesn't I don't screw the pooch like that so bad and drop the painting. But sometimes I do. I hope y'all are liking it, or at least enough not to make hateful comments. No, I'm just kidding. If any of you guys have have relatives with PTSD or TBIs or anything like that, feel free to ask me any questions. Try to build up that network. Don't I hate to have somebody not be able to use, or to be too apprehensive to use something like art just because they think maybe because they're a soldier or a veteran they're not supposed to, or it's weak or whatever. But I mean, I did 6 years in the Special Operations Ranger Unit, 3rd Battalion, and I guess this is I did 5 tours, so that's pretty. I guess it's as manly as it gets, yeah. So you don't have to worry about it because I said it was okay. I tell you, if you're worried about people's opinion of your art, you might as well just get that out of your head. Too much, because I tell you, most folks will never give you the response that you want anyway, and it's all about your healing, right? So. All right. Doing pretty good. Cooking with gas. About done, I think. This kind of turned into an experiment with cubism, folks, which is always cool. I'm sure I make all the great faces. Ooh, gotta have a beverage drink or beverage break. Oh my God, how hard it is to stand up here for an hour and paint. No. All right, guys and gals, I think I'm done. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing more people. The next time I stream, I'll be sure to do a shout out before I do it. 2 hours, maybe even a week or a day or a few days. So that way you know when I'm going to be doing it again, and hopefully you can join me. If you're following along at home, hopefully yours looks completely different. Isn't that, that would be the best case. Here we go. That's how I would hang it up. So hopefully you and Bobby are fans. John?
Looks great, man.
Thanks.
I like it.
It's my viewer, John, everybody.
Hello.
All right. On behalf of Bobby R, Robbie Rose, I'm out. I'm going to go relax. Put some ice on my back. Later, guys.